The following announcement has been paid for by Pro Wrestling Culture.
Dummy, yeah.
Be watching there. It's going to be showtime, and tune in to the podcast Pro Wrestling Culture because it's always showtime there from the Stinger.
Ladies and gentlemen, in a new brand episode of Pro Wrestling Culture. My name is the real Messiah Aldo Fiadone, and here with me, the Professor Matteo Pagliarella. Hi, Matteo.
Hi, Aldo. It's a big pleasure to have a very great guest. Very great guest.
Yes, because we have a very special enforcer tonight with us. We have the privilege, I have the privilege to introduce to all of you, dear listeners, ladies and gentlemen, Brian Kendrick. Hi, Brian. How are you doing?
Hi, gentlemen. Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. Thank you for being here on Pro Wrestling Culture. Absolutely.
My pleasure.
Thank you. So, I want to start with the first question. And I think you had your first match in WWE in 2000, 23 years ago, probably. And after that, you have the last match in WWE in 2020. So, can you tell us more about this experience in WWE, this 20 years experience for World Wrestling Entertainment?
So, during those 20 years, I wasn't there the entire time.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I know.
But so a lot changed over the years. The stars of 2020 are a lot different than the stars of 2003. But I don't know if the product has changed all that much. It's still about wrestling. It's still quality wrestling. And the job is the same. You go travel around the world and you get to wrestle. And most of the people that wrestle, that's their favorite thing in the world to do. It's certainly my favorite thing in the world to do. So the job was the same. 2020 or 2003, I'd go to a town I don't live in, and I get to do what I love.
So another part of your career outside WWE was in TNA, in Impact Wrestling. And you are a former X Division champion, probably one of the greatest title belt in the entire industry for X Division in general. During your 2 years in the company, what do you think about that? This another experience for your biggest career?
I enjoyed it, and Impact or TNA that has really changed over the years. Much more so than what WWE has. I liked it because I thought there was great wrestlers. They had the X Division wasn't entirely cruiserweights. It was just more or less a Ring of Honor, exciting style of wrestling. But it mostly had cruiserweights, and I loved wrestling all of them. It also had a really strong women's division before women became a big focus. The women were still, one of the groups of blondes was the Beautiful People. So they were still, gorgeous ladies, but they focused on their in-ring more. And I think it forced everybody else to.
Probably you don't know that here in Italy we loved many things about Brian Kendrick, in particular your X Division run and your team with Paul London. So, what do you feel about that championship run with the WWE and the World Tag Team Championships with Paul London and your time? Because you held the titles for so long.
So I was a young man, and it was a lot of fun. Because of having the titles for that long, that meant we got to perform, and because of that, Paul and I got to go to 30 different countries, defending those titles, and it was great. Whenever I'm being interviewed, or if I do a signing, or if I go to a locker room and wrestle, that's the time that people seem to like the most that I did. That seems to be their favorite part of my career, was the time that Paul and I spent together.
And you two spent many time in Insane Championship Wrestling in Scotland in 2014, I think.
Yeah.
I am a fan of Insane, and that title run with the Hooligans, if it's correct, was great, absolutely. And what do you think about the European wrestling? Because you were the champion during the boom of professional wrestling in the indies, like Insane, Progress, Rev Pro, and many other companies inside the Europe. So, what do you think about the European scenario of professional wrestling?
So I think it's great. I really enjoyed my time at NXT UK, which had I know it was NXT UK, but it was very European in general. What I liked about those wrestlers was that they were all professional wrestlers. They all loved it. They all did it for no money at some point. But I run a couple of schools, and I have my students study French wrestling from the 50s and 60s. I think Europe has had a fantastic. That's where wrestling came from, and so I think the indie boom, guys like Walter and Ilya, Imperium, bringing a spotlight on how good European wrestling is, but it's always been good. If you look at black and white footage, I think Petite Prince is the most underrated wrestler that I know of. So yes, I love European wrestling.
And about European wrestling, we have many coaches, many legends in particular in United Kingdom. But you have the privilege to coached by Shawn Michaels, by William Regal, another UK legend. So, what do you feel about that time in the beginning of your career?
I was nervous. I wanted to be a wrestler. I didn't know if it was possible. It was a dream I was chasing, and I didn't have any physical gifts that would lead people to have any confidence in me. And so when I first met Shawn Michaels, it was a cartoon character I was meeting in real life, and I wanted to impress him. William Regal, the same thing, except he's a guy who wears suits and has a British accent, so I was real intimidated by him. Shawn had been nothing but kind to me, and now Regal and I are friends. So I've been very fortunate to have been trained by those two men, as well as others like Rudy Boy Gonzalez and Tracy Smothers.
So, do you have any other goal in this time of your career?
I don't, as far as getting a certain accomplishment, achieving anything like that. My goal is to have the biggest platform to prove that I'm the greatest wrestler in the world, and that's gonna take work.
Okay. Matteo, your turn.
Okay, thank you, Aldo. Mr. Kendrick, I have one question. How difficult was to fight to have a match during the scramble match? How difficult was?
Scramble match, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that was, besides my time with Paul London, that's what gets brought up the second most about the
Mhm.
scramble match. To me, that was a wonderful highlight of my career. I loved it. And so I can say that I'm a former current champion, which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And so putting it together was great because while Hunter was the boss, MVP and I were very good friends still to this day. Shelton Benjamin has always been a buddy. I love Jeff Hardy. We've hung out quite a bit, so putting a match together with those guys was great. And then Hunter's our boss, even in a way back then, so you just kind of listen to the boss.
Okay, and I have one video that I'm looking for now that I want to show
Okay.
you because it was the last time you've been in Italy.
Oh, shoot. Okay.
Okay. It was 2007.
We are in Milan, Italy tonight for Friday Night SmackDown, but I do like the French feel. I may have you to France tomorrow. Get a French maid.
Is this where we lost to Deuce and Domino?
Yeah.
Scheduled for one fall.
Yes.
Yeah.
Tag Team Championship. Introducing first at a combined weight of 369 pounds, they are the current WWE Tag Team Champions, Brian Kendrick and Paul London. 334 days in.
Okay, do you have memories of this moment?
Yeah.
Of the Italian fans, of course.
Yeah. So, what I would say is Paul and I have been to Italy since, but it was for an independent wrestling promotion, and it was in Sicily. And so to me, Italy and Sicily are the same, but I'm not Italian or Sicilian, so I can't really say if that counts. If that counts or not.
During this SmackDown, you were in Milan, in the northern part of Italy.
Yes.
While in the Sicily, you have in the island in the south. Yeah.
Oh yes, I understand. That last time I was in Italy was in maybe 2012 or 13 in Sicily.
Okay.
For Fort Indy. Sorry for the confusion.
No, don't worry.
So what I remember is we lost to Deuce and Domino. I remember that it was something to do with stuff backstage, and as far as the Italian fans go, man, they're awesome. Any place we go overseas for the WWE, they're so crazy because the events come so rarely. But you get more of a feel for it on an independent show because it's not so chaotic. So I would say last time I did a show in Italy, small one in Sicily, the crowd was very nice, and like the rest of the world, just seemed like good people to talk to after the show, even though I don't speak Italian.
Okay.
But you wrestled in the first and last episode of SmackDown in Italy.
Is that right? The first and last?
Yeah.
First and last.
Oh no!
Absolutely.
In that same building the day before is when Santino Marella beat Umaga for the internet.
On the Night Raw. Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah,
Santino,
the
Santino,
Milan Miracle.
of course, not Italian.
Oh my goodness! Yeah, He's from Toronto.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we know. And he said that he was come from Calabria, that it's
Yeah.
Calabria, sì.
really near to Sicily, really near to
Sicily,
Sicily.
yeah.
Did he mispronounce it?
No, he must he
Oh,
don't
he pronounced.
mispronounce it,
Okay,
but
good.
it was so close to your Sicily. It was so good. It was so good that moment. In Italy now we have a lot of very good independent federation. In the northern part, in the center part, maybe you can see in November we'll have a show from the one of the most famous federation in Europe, the over the top wrestling, the federation in Ireland.
Mm.
They sudden will come to Milan to do a show. So we have, we had a very great attendance now in Italy for independent show. Really great attendance, and especially for this, you have any suggest to new wrestler to, I don't know, like to focus on charisma or skills or mixed skills, something like this? Do you have any suggestions?
Okay. So, if we're talking about microphone skills and stuff like that, it becomes a lot easier if you know who you are or what the character is. And so I think once you figure out what your character is going to be, then once that's figured out, you know how the character walks, you know how the character wrestles. You don't have to think about what the next move is because you are that character. Then the talking becomes easy. And then for some guys, they don't come up with a character, they just come up with an extension of themselves, or maybe this extension of themselves, this character becomes them in real life. Famously, a Ric Flair is not too distant from his on-screen persona to what he is in a bar, let's say the next night. So to get good at mic skills, you have to know who you are, or the character is. And then from there, when you're in the showers, cut promos. When you're driving in the car, cut promos. All the time, promos.
Okay, you have to train every time in your day.
Yes,
you have,
all the time when in your
yeah.
free time. Yeah.
Okay, and I have one question on the WWE universe, not for the attendance, but all WWE. In your opinion, after like 15, 18 years, what doesn't work with Cruiserweight in WWE? Why they don't have anymore the Cruiserweight title?
Oh, okay. I think it's because there being a heavyweight class and a cruiserweight class, there's a distinction, and so there's cruiserweights that'll wrestle against the heavyweights. So are these other cruiserweights who aren't wrestling against the heavyweights, are they not as good? So nobody wants to watch a junior varsity team. They want to watch the best team. Okay. And I think that people look at themselves, a lot of them are bigger than a cruiserweight. So they think they can beat up a cruiserweight. So they're not interested in watching a cruiserweight because they don't want to see people they can beat up fight each other.
Okay.
They're not as grand. They're not as big. But I think if it's just presented as its own thing, it's a style of wrestling, I think it's a fantastic style of wrestling and can be the best.
Yeah, I think too. Aldo, I don't know if you have other questions.
No, but
or I can go with the.
I have another. No. I have another question.
Okay.
What do you think about your match against the Monster Abyss?
I like that one. It was fun. It was so long ago, But yeah, Abyss and I talked about it last time we saw each other, and remember the finish with the choke slam and grabbing the X,
Yeah.
and really, I think that's the kind of the whole point is to build towards a finish. Not always, but in that case, it was, and I don't know. I remember it being fun at the time.
It was funny. It was funny. Absolutely.
No, thank you, thanks, Aldo.
Okay. The biggest question of the podcast, Aldo.
Okay, this is
Time.
our last question, and
Yeah, our
we
last
call
question.
it in Italian. So it's Erdomandone.
So it is the
Yeah.
biggest question. The biggest question.
Okay.
Biggest question. Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Do you have any funny stuff or funny stories in or extra ring that you could share to us?
Okay.
And don't worry, we are not police or
we'll-
affiliated.
And we
Yeah.
listened a lot of funny and strange stories.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of one that won't get anybody in trouble but me. So okay, this is one that won't get any whew.
It's difficult.
One
This is the
time,
reaction.
one time in South Africa, 15 years ago, while wrestling, there was a group of wrestlers outside and the group of us wrestlers inside a hotel room 8 floors up. I see downstairs, there's the head wrestler at the time with all the other wrestlers. I decided it'll be funny to try to pee on this table. I tried peeing on this table standing in this big window. I can't make it that far, but the pee's going. Here's an awning. Here comes hotel staff. I can't stop in time. I wind up peeing on the hotel staff of the South African hotel, and I had to lie my way out of going to prison. I had to lie, and I don't like to lie, but I didn't want to go to prison in South Africa, so I pretended that I was using water to try to pee on John Cena and the crew. But that was it. That's my story. Yeah, and I don't get nobody else is in trouble in that one, and so yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Fantastic.
It was so funny. It was so funny.
Fantastic.
Thank you,
So
guys.
when we go to a WWE trip, we have to
Yes.
pay more attention to the windows, maybe because
Yeah,
I don't
maybe
know
so.
if
Maybe so.
Okay.
Brian, thank you very
you so
much
much.
for this opportunity.
Oh.
And absolutely, we will always grateful for it. Absolutely, and obviously we wish you the best for your career, for your school, for your training school. Absolutely, the best for you because you are a nice person and a very great wrestler. Because I watch everything about you. And this is a real privilege, not just like a conductor of this program, but like a fan. Absolutely.
You guys make me blush. It's very kind of both of you. Thank you, Aldo. Thank you, Matteo. And I appreciate you guys. Making helping the wrestling fans in Italy. You know, to share your love of professional wrestling. And thank you guys for that.
Thank you very much.
And maybe
And
we
thank you to
can
Matteo.
we can meet to I don't know, like WrestleCon or independent show in US.
I would love that.
Why not?
If there's ever one I'm at, please swing by.
Okay.
Once again,
Thank you so much.
Brian.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.